shadows beneath the earth, the story of humanity isn't written in books. It's carved into stone, buried beneath dust, and whispered by ruins that refuse to stay silent. Every civilization that ever rose left behind echoes, temples, tombs, and artifacts that tell us who they were, what they feared, and what they worshipped. But some of those echoes don't make sense. Some speak of things far beyond their time, machine symbols and alignments that seem to defy logic. For decades, archaeologists have unearthed treasures that should have rewritten history. But instead, they've deepened the mystery of what it means to be human. Let's begin where the Earth still hides its oldest secrets. 1. The Sacsayhuaman Fortress, the stone puzzle of the gods high in the Peruvian Andes, above the ancient city of Cusco, lies a fortress so massive that modern engineers still can't explain how it was built. Sacsayhuaman. The stones, some weighing over 300 tons, are cut with surgical precision, locked together so perfectly that even a razor blade can't slide between them. No mortar, no binding agent, just flawless, interlocking geometry. How did the Inca, or whoever came before them, carve and lift these monstrous blocks with such accuracy using only stone tools and manpower? Some researchers suggest sound manipulation or forgotten mechanical systems. Others whisper of extraterrestrial influence, a theory dismissed by mainstream science but impossible to ignore when you stand before those seamless walls. What makes Sacsayhuaman more mysterious is that even earthquakes couldn't move it. The stones shift and breathe like the mountain itself, perfectly resistant to centuries of tremors, as if the builders understood something about balance and energy that modern science has yet to rediscover. 2. The Baghdad Battery, the spark of an ancient engineer. In a dusty corner of a museum in Iraq sits a small clay jar, sealed with asphalt and fitted with a copper cylinder and an iron rod. It looks ordinary, until someone poured vinegar into it and realized it produced electricity. This artifact, known as the Baghdad Battery, dates back over 2,000 years, long before Benjamin Franklin flew his kite or Edison lit a bulb. If it truly functioned as a battery, it could have been used for electroplating gold, primitive medical stimulation, or ritualistic energy displays. But who taught ancient Mesopotamians about electrical current? There are no texts, no records, only that strange jar, a silent relic that hints our ancestors might have known far more about natural forces than we've been taught. 3. The Great Pyramid's power lines. Everyone knows the Great Pyramid of Giza, but few realize how much it refuses to behave like a tomb. Its internal shafts align with specific stars, Orion's belt, Sirius, and others. Its base is aligned almost perfectly with true north, to within 50/15th of a degree, a precision modern surveyors struggle to replicate even with lasers. And deep within its limestone casing, traces of conductive materials, copper and granite with high quartz content, suggest it could generate or channel energy. In 2018, a study from the Journal of Applied Physics revealed that under the right conditions, the Great Pyramid can concentrate electromagnetic waves inside its chambers. Coincidence, or evidence that the ancients were harnessing natural frequencies for purposes we still don't understand? Some theorists believe the pyramids were never tombs, but ancient power plants, massive resonators designed to draw energy from the earth itself. If that's true, then Egypt was not just the cradle of civilization. It might have been the cradle of something far greater, technology we can no longer comprehend. 4. The Antikythera mechanism. The world's first computer in 1901, divers off the coast of Greece found a corroded bronze box inside a Roman shipwreck. For decades, it was ignored, dismissed as junk. Then X-ray imaging revealed gears, dozens of them, precisely interlocked with inscriptions marking planetary cycles and eclipses. It wasn't junk. It was the Antikythera mechanism, a 2,000-year-old analog computer capable of predicting celestial events with astonishing accuracy. Modern engineers admit it shouldn't exist. The precision of its gearing was unmatched until the 18th century. So who built it, and where did the knowledge come from? Some believe it was a lost technology passed down from an earlier civilization, wiped out by time or disaster. Others think it was an isolated genius, a mind so far ahead that his work died with him. Whatever the truth, that corroded relic proved something terrifying. History is not a straight line. It's a loop of discovery, loss, and rediscovery. 5. The Indus Valley Script, the language no one can read. Long before Egypt and Mesopotamia rose to glory, the Indus Valley civilization thrived across what is now Pakistan and India. They built vast cities, Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, with advanced drainage systems and precise urban grids. But they left behind something far more puzzling, a written script carved into thousands of seals and tablets. Despite decades of study, not a single word has been deciphered. Why? Because the language vanished without descendants, without a Rosetta Stone to bridge it. Some linguists believe it wasn't a language at all, but a coded system of trade symbols. Others think it hides the story of their sudden disappearance, perhaps due to war, famine, or something even darker. Each seal whispers the same question: how does an entire civilization vanish, leaving only symbols no one can understand? 6. The stone spheres of Costa Rica, the perfect geometry of the jungle. Deep in the rainforests of Costa Rica lie hundreds of massive stone spheres, some weighing over 15 tons. They are carved with perfect roundness, so perfect that even laser measurements show errors smaller than 2 millimeters. Created by the Decus culture over 1,000 years ago, these spheres have no clear purpose. They're too heavy to move easily, too uniform to be natural, and too numerous to be meaningless. Some align with ancient settlements. Others appear to mark astronomical points. But no tools, quarries, or carving sites have ever been found. The jungle hides their origin, and maybe their purpose. 7. The Nazca lines messages to the sky from the ground. They're nothing but lines scratched into desert rock. But from the sky, they form massive figures: a monkey, a hummingbird, a spider, and shapes that stretch for kilometers. The Nazca lines of Peru were etched over 500 years ago, yet their scale suggests they were meant to be seen from above. Why create something only visible to gods or aircraft? Some archaeologists say they were ritual paths, walked during ceremonies to call upon the rain. Others suggest they mark constellations or serve as a giant astronomical calendar. But then, there are those who wonder if the Nazca were trying to communicate, not with each other, but with visitors from the sky. 8. Göbekli Tepe, the temple that shouldn't exist, discovered in Turkey in 1994. Göbekli Tepe shattered everything we thought we knew about human history. It's 12,000 years old, older than Stonehenge, older than the pyramids, built when humans were still supposed to be nomadic hunter-gatherers. Yet here stands an immense ceremonial complex of carved pillars arranged in circles, depicting animals and abstract symbols. No farming, no metal, no writing. Yet they built an architectural masterpiece that would have required hundreds of workers and advanced design skills. Why? How? And perhaps most chilling of all, why was it buried on purpose? Someone hid it under tons of earth, deliberately preserving it for the future. It's as if the builders wanted it to be found one day when humanity was ready to understand what it meant. 9. The Voynich manuscript, the book of the impossible language. Tucked inside Yale University's archives lies a manuscript written in a language that exists nowhere else on Earth. Every page is filled with intricate illustrations, unknown plants, astronomical charts, and naked figures floating in strange green pools. No one knows who wrote it. Carbon dating places it in the early 1400s, but the script defies all linguistic logic. Cryptographers, codebreakers, even AI models have failed to crack it. Some believe it's an elaborate hoax. Others think it's a coded record of lost knowledge, or an alien language disguised in human form. Each page feels like a dream, familiar and utterly foreign, 10. The Piri Reis map, the forgotten world, drawn in 1513 by Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis. This map shows the coastlines of Africa, South America, and Antarctica, with shocking accuracy. The problem: Antarctica wasn't discovered until 1820. Even stranger, the map depicts Antarctica without ice, as if copied from sources dating back before the last ice age. Reis claimed his charts were compiled from ancient maps, handed down from earlier civilizations. If that's true, who mapped the world before recorded history began? Some say it was the remnants of Atlantis, others claim it proves an advanced maritime civilization predating all known empires. 10 mysteries, and not a single answer. Each artifact, each ruin, each fragment of stone challenges the story we tell ourselves about human progress. Maybe we didn't build our knowledge alone. Maybe we inherited it from someone or something that walked this world before us. But 10 more secrets remain, buried deeper, stranger, and far more dangerous to explain. And in the next part, we'll uncover them. Because sometimes history doesn't hide the truth. It buries it alive. The forbidden archives of time. Humanity walks upon the surface of its own amnesia. For every ruin we uncover, 10 more sleep beneath shifting sands, drowned coasts, or jungles that breathe like lungs around forgotten stone. The deeper archaeologists dig, the less history behaves. It bends, fractures, and begins to whisper of civilizations that should not have existed, of knowledge that should not have survived. We ended part 1 with 10 riddles carved into stone. Now we descend further, to 10 more that challenge the boundaries of time itself. 11. The Shigir idol, the wooden prophet of the Ice Age. In 1894, miners in the Ural Mountains unearthed a dark, water-logged log nearly 3 meters tall, its surface carved with human faces and zigzag symbols. At first it looked primitive, until carbon dating exposed a staggering truth. The Shigir idol is over 12,000 years old. That makes it the oldest known wooden sculpture on Earth, twice as old as Egypt's pyramids. Its carvings seem to tell a story, perhaps of creation, perhaps of cosmic law. But no one can read it. Who, at the end of the Ice Age, carved spiritual codes into a tree trunk, sealed it in a peat bog, and left it to survive millennia? Some scientists call it proof of forgotten artistry. Others think it's a message from a civilization wiped out before agriculture was even born. 12. The Yonaguni Monument, the drowned steps of Japan. Off the coast of Okinawa lies a colossal staircase descending into the deep. Massive terraces, walls, and what looks like a carved throne. Divers call it Japan's Atlantis. Geologists argue it's a natural formation, yet the symmetry is undeniable. Right angles, precise lines, and corridors that seem designed for feet, not fish. If it's man-made, then it predates recorded Japanese history by thousands of years. Marine archaeologist Masaki Kimura believes it's a temple of a vanished culture swallowed by rising seas at the end of the last ice age. Underwater sonar scans show tools marks on some edges, proof, perhaps, of hands at work. Whether built or born of nature, the Yonaguni Monument stands as a reminder the sea may hide entire chapters of our story. 13. The Longyu Caves, China's impossible underground city. In 1992, farmers in Zhejiang province drained a pond and discovered a chamber carved into solid sandstone. Then another, and another. By the time archaeologists arrived, 24 massive caverns had been found, each with perfectly straight walls, intricate patterns, and no record of their construction. Each cave would have required removing thousands of tons of rock, yet there are no tool fragments, no inscriptions, no debris piles anywhere nearby. Even stranger, the chisel patterns on every wall are identical, as if made by the same craftsman, or the same machine. Who built the Longyu Caves? And why bury them beneath the earth, never to be seen? Some believe they were quarries repurposed into sanctuaries. Others whisper they were energy chambers carved to resonate with the vibrations of the planet. Whatever their purpose, they challenge the very timeline of China's ancient past. 14. The Roman dodecahedrons, objects without a manual across Europe. In Roman ruins from Britain to Hungary, archaeologists have found small bronze or stone polyhedrons. 12-sided, each face punctured by a circular hole of varying size, each corner tipped with a tiny knob. No two are identical. No Latin text ever mentions them. They've been called candle holders, dice, survey instruments, even fortune-telling tools. But when replicas are tested, they appear to focus light and distance with uncanny precision. Perhaps a military range finder or a weaving gauge. Yet the truth remains sealed in silence. Thousands of Roman records survived, the lives of emperors, battles, harvest taxes. But not one line explains these strange geometric relics that show Rome still had secrets it never shared. 15. The Saqqara bird, Egypt's wooden prototype. In 1898, archaeologists found a small wooden figure in an Egyptian tomb. It looked like a falcon, until engineers noticed its aerodynamic shape, stabilizing tail, and lightweight balance. The Saqqara bird could glide. Some claim it's the oldest model airplane on Earth, a symbolic representation of flight long before the Wright brothers ever dreamed of it. Egyptologists dismiss that idea, saying it's a toy or religious emblem of Horus. But when tunnel tests show it generates lift, was it a child's plaything, or a memory of a time when ancient eyes watched something mechanical soar across their sky? 16. The Sumerian king list rulers who lived for millennia, carved into clay tablets over 4,000 years ago. The Sumerian king list chronicles ancient Mesopotamian rulers and the lengths of their reigns. Some ruled for 20 or 30 years, but others for 28,000, 36,000, even 43,000 years. Scholars treat the numbers as mythological exaggerations, metaphors for divine power. Yet the list transitions seamlessly from god kings to verifiable historical figures, as if history itself blurred the line between heaven and earth. The most haunting part, the text describes a great flood that wiped the slate clean, after which kingship was lowered from heaven once more. A poetic way of saying civilization restarted, or a literal memory of something far older rising again. The Sumerian star map, the Tablet of Nippur. In 1949, a small clay tablet was unearthed near Nippur. When decoded decades later, astronomers realized it mapped the sky as seen 9,000 years ago, with a particular object moving between stars. That object, researchers claim, could be the impactor that created the Kehrfels crater in Austria around 3100 BCE. But how could ancient scribes have known the trajectory of a celestial body visible only through modern calculations? Some theorists suggest they recorded stories told by survivors of a prehistoric cataclysm. Others think they watched it happen, with instruments we no longer possess. Either way, the Nippur tablet is a cosmic diary written long before telescopes existed. 18. The Tome of Qin Shi Huang, the Emperor's Mercury Sea. Everyone knows the Terracotta Army, but few realize the true tome of China's first emperor remains sealed. Ancient texts describe rivers of liquid mercury flowing through golden boats, a celestial ceiling lit by pearls, and traps rigged to fire arrows at intruders. Modern scans confirm high mercury concentrations in the soil, exactly where the texts said they'd be. The Chinese government has banned excavation until technology can preserve the site. What lies within may rewrite everything. Proof of ancient chemistry, mechanized traps, or perhaps, as some fear, something deliberately buried for a reason. Until the chamber opens, Qin Shi Huang's tomb remains the ultimate forbidden door of archaeology. 19. The Cocknow Stone, Scotland's cosmic map, discovered in 1887 near Glasgow. The Cocknow Stone is a massive rock carved with spirals, rings, and cup marks covering over 90 square meters. Archaeologists estimate it's at least 5,000 years old. Some say it's a map of the stars, others a map of the Earth seen from above. Local legend calls it a portal stone. In 1965, authorities reburied it to protect it from vandalism, but digital scans taken before burial reveal patterns eerily similar to modern depictions of energy fields and gravitational mapping. Was it ancient art, an astronomical chart, or the record of something once seen in the sky? Something worth hiding for another age. 20. The pyramids of Bosnia, the mountains that shouldn't exist. In 2005, a Bosnian researcher claimed that a cluster of pyramid-shaped hills near Visoko were not natural formations but man-made monuments older than Egypt's. Excavations revealed stone blocks, tunnels, and a network of chambers radiating electromagnetic anomalies. Mainstream archaeology dismissed the find as geology misread. But ground-penetrating radar tells a different story. Perfect geometric angles, uniform layering, and underground passages stretching for miles. If even a fragment of it is artificial, it would mean that long before written history, Europe harbored a civilization capable of constructing mountain-sized monuments, then erasing itself completely. The weight of the unknown. 20 mysteries. 20 fractures in the timeline. Each discovery is a mirror showing us not just where we came from, but what we've forgotten. Science demands evidence, and yet evidence often whispers rather than shouts. A pattern appears, a cycle of rise, collapse, and rediscovery that stretches beyond the boundaries of our textbooks. Maybe the ancients weren't primitive. Maybe they were survivors, fragments of older worlds that ended in fire or flood, leaving behind only stone as testimony. The pyramids, the idols, the manuscripts, the spheres. All different languages repeating one truth: humanity is older, deeper, and more complex than we dare to believe. And perhaps the greatest mystery isn't what they built. It's why they buried it. Some say they feared us, that one day their descendants would not be ready for the knowledge they left behind. Others think they planned for this moment, that we would find the clues only when we could finally understand them, because every artifact hums the same note. We were here before. The real question is, how many times has humanity climbed to the edge of greatness, only to fall and forget its own name? The answers may not lie in textbooks or temples. They might be waiting beneath the oceans, under our feet, or even inside the myths we still tell around firelight. Until the earth yields its final secret, the story remains unfinished, because archaeology isn't just about uncovering the past. It's about realizing that history may be staring back at us, through stone eyes that have never stopped watching. The echoes of the forgotten earth. For centuries, we've believed that human history follows a clear timeline. From primitive hunters to modern civilization, a steady climb guided by reason and progress. But the deeper we dig, the more we realize that the ground beneath us does not agree. Buried in deserts, frozen in mountains, and locked beneath oceans, lie remnants of something that defies the story we've been told. This is the final journey, through the last and most haunting archaeological mysteries still defying science, and the breathtaking truth they may reveal about our place in time. The lost labyrinth of Hawara, Egypt's underground enigma. In the desert near Hawara, Egypt, ancient texts describe a massive labyrinth said to hold the secrets of the world. 3,000 rooms, filled with hieroglyphs, carvings, and histories of forgotten ages. Herodotus claimed to have seen it himself, calling it greater than all the temples of Greece combined. But the labyrinth vanished. In 2008, a joint expedition using ground-penetrating radar discovered strange geometric patterns deep beneath the sands. Rectangular chambers aligned like a massive grid, stretching for hundreds of meters. Yet, excavation was halted. Egyptian authorities cited instability of the ground. Some believe what lies beneath isn't just a burial site, but a hidden library, a vault of pre-dynastic knowledge built before recorded history. If unearthed, it could rewrite Egypt's entire timeline. But until the sands yield their secret, the labyrinth of Hawara remains sealed, a riddle buried in silence. The Lake Vostok enclosure, Antarctica's frozen secret. Beneath 2 miles of Antarctic ice lies Lake Vostok, untouched for over 15 million years. When Russian scientists drilled into it in 2012, the samples they retrieved contained DNA unlike anything on Earth's known genetic map. neither bacterial nor animal. NASA was called in. In their report, certain sequences were marked as unclassified. To this day, no one has fully explained what they found. Some speculate it was a remnant of an ecosystem long extinct. Others whisper it could be microbial life not of this world, perhaps carried to Earth on comets billions of years ago. Whatever it was, the drills were sealed, and the project's deeper layers remain restricted. Antarctica, the least explored continent, may hold the oldest evidence of life's origins. The Nan Madol Fortress, the Pacific's Atlantis, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, off the island of Pohnpei, lies Nan Madol, an ancient city built entirely of massive basalt blocks, some weighing over 50 tons, stacked perfectly on coral reefs. No cranes, no wheels, no beasts of burden. Just black stone rising out of the ocean in precise, symmetrical lines. Local legends speak of twin sorcerers who flew the stones into place using chance. Archaeologists are left with no explanation. The structure predates the tools and metallurgy of the region by centuries. Even more disturbing are the magnetic anomalies measured near the ruins. Compasses spin wildly, and radio devices fail. Whether it's natural magnetism or something else, perhaps remnants of lost technology, no one can say. Nan Madol, isolated and overgrown, watches the waves in silence. A ghost of a civilization erased by time. The Copper Scroll of Qumran treasure or warning. Among the Dead Sea Scrolls, one stands apart, not parchment but copper. Inscribed upon it are directions to 63 hiding places of vast treasure, including gold and artifacts buried beneath the ruins of the valley. Some historians believe it refers to the treasures of Solomon's temple, hidden during the Roman invasion. But others argue the scroll's language suggests something else, items not of wealth, but of knowledge. References to instruments of light and records of the sky have fueled theories that the scroll describes ancient scientific devices, perhaps remnants of technologies lost to catastrophe. Excavations have found nothing. Yet, several sites listed on the scroll are now under modern structures inaccessible without demolition. What if the treasure was never meant to be found, but to remind us that civilization's secrets were always meant to be buried until we are wise enough to use them? The labeled stones of Ica, ancient technology or hoax. In Peru, thousands of carved stones depict humans interacting with dinosaurs, performing surgeries, and using telescopes to view distant stars. Scientists dismiss them as fakes. But radiocarbon dating of the soil found clinging to several stones placed their burial at over 10,000 years old.